All right, what is up, everyone, and welcome to what happened here? That is weird. Welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 118. I'm your host, James, and I'm joined by the great ace attorney himself, Mr. Ash Destroyum.
Hello.
And we got the best from the West, The Geek Show, joining us today.
Good, everybody.
Yeah. Fan is out today, so he won't be joining us. And then Bryant is, I'm not sure. I think Bryant's probably watching football game. His team is the Packers, and I believe the Packers are in the playoff. I haven't watched football in years, so I don't know. But I did hear somebody saying that the Packers are in the playoffs.
They're gone.
Oh, they lost?
22-10 earlier.
Who were they playing?
The Eagles. The Eagles.
Oh.
Eagles are a physical team.
I know. I think right now Tampa's playing. Right? Yeah, because I know over here, I live in that area. Like once it hits that time where I work in retail, it gets super slow whenever the Bucks are playing. So like you get barely any customers or anything like that. So I'm sure everybody is either at the stadium watching it or at home watching it. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. Probably not far, but. Yeah. Anyways, this is not a sports podcast. We do got stuff to talk about today. Quite a bit of stuff actually got announced this week. We did have CES, and I actually forgot to write down CES here in the notes. But CES happened this week, and a little bit of stuff was announced. I honestly thought the whole podcast this week would be on CES alone, but I feel like Nvidia and AMD's like stuff was kind of lacking. Let's start with AMD. AMD announced two CPUs, both 3D processors. The 9980, I believe, X3D, and I forgot what the other one was. And they also announced the RX 9070 and the 9070 XT GPUs, which will be AMD's new GPUs. The issue I have with AMD's announcements is all we had was like a graph that kind of compared these 9070 and the 9070 XT to the 7900 XT, and that was really about it. We didn't really get any like other benchmarks or performance or anything like that, so that's why I'm not gonna dabble on that. That's more a little bit of small news. I do want to wait and see what those have to offer, because I do need a new GPU, because when I go ahead and stream Marvel Rivals, I cannot stream and play the game at the same time. I have to use my ROG Ally X through my capture card to do that, which is very annoying. Nvidia, though, a little bit better, had announced their GPUs. They announced the 5070, 5070 Ti, 5080, and the 5090 GPUs. And yeah, they claimed that the 5070 is on par with a 4090, which all of us who actually know it's not real. That is with DLSS 4 and frame generation, which will do triple the frames now. And I was really looking into that, because I was like, man, if a 5070, which is going to be, I believe, $500, is on par with a 4090, I'm going to buy that, for sure. But then I looked more into it, and there's a lot of issues you have to see there. One, latency seems to be an issue, because even though you're using DLSS, your inputs, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ash, your inputs are still running at whatever the native frame rate is. So even though you're viewing the actual frame rate, your inputs will be at whatever the native frame rate is. Is that true?
That's frame gen, not DLSS.
Or sorry, did I say DLSS? I meant frame gen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's what frame gen's doing. Which, with my experience, I haven't had that problem, because essentially when you're looking at 120 frames per second, but the way you're feeling is still 60 frames per second, right? So that latency for 60 frames is not going to be equivalent to 120 frames at that point. And when Jensen actually first said that, I was extremely skeptical on why he said that in the first place. He can't just outright just say, hey, the 5070 that costs $550 to be equivalent to a 4090 that costs like how much, $1,500 or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 1,500, I believe, when it launched.
So I'm like, homie, no, that's I know there was something really fishy with that crap, right? And as time progresses, we find out, it's just the fact that it can keep up with the 4090 if you implement those AI stuff like the DLSS and frame gen crap. Which I'm like, okay, whatever, I guess. At least I'd say the announcements were okay at the least, because the prices for the 5080 cards went down a little bit because when the 4080 came out, it was 1200. Now with the 5080, it's coming from 1200 to 1000. So I'm like, okay, we're going somewhere with that. Which tells me that, hey, the PC gamers answered with their wallets. They didn't want to buy a 4080, didn't want to buy a 4070. They actually, I know some bought a 4070 over to like go in between. But it's good that we're literally telling NVIDIA, hey, listen, lower those damn prices so that way you can actually sell these cards. Because based on my recollection, those cards were not selling whatsoever when they first launched. Nobody cared for these cards at all because of the prices. So I'm glad we took a stance against that, and hopefully that's continues to be true when these cards come out as well. Why I see people buy a 4080? I'll say 60-40. I see 60% people buying a 4080. I'm not 40, 5080, and see 40% not. Mainly because of the pricing, but I know the 60% wants to buy it mainly because of the VRAM itself. So.
Yeah, I mean, VRAM is something that's important. Like with my 3060 Ti, I have 8 gigs of VRAM, and I kind of figured out, going through everything, wondering why does my stream keep continuously crash? It's VRAM. Probably because OBS has a bunch of scenes set up on here, so I have like so many scenes and so many things running in the background, so it always has that ready. And of course, it's doing the encoding, and then B, of course, games are demanding more and more VRAM. Which I will be surprised if I can play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth when it comes out on PC in a couple weeks, and stream at the same time, because that seems to need a lot of VRAM. So, like I said, I'd be surprised. I can't do Final Fantasy 16. I can't play Final Fantasy 16 and stream at the same time, even though it worked well initially. After a couple updates they did, it kind of made the performance worse on both my PC and all my devices. So that kind of sucks there. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I definitely need a new GPU, and I'll be keeping an eye out on those. More than likely, the 5070 Ti is probably where I'm sitting at, just because of price to more pricing, and the performance I'll get out will seem a pretty good deal. But I'll have to wait and see a little bit more to see exactly what I'm getting out of these before I go down. And I also want to see what the 9070 brings to the table, because in letters, at least in wording that they have on their press release, it has a better video encoder as well as decoder, which would be good, an update, because I know AMD's always been behind on that, but that'd be a nice thing to have. And of course, we want to see a lot of VRAM. Typically, AMD usually puts in a lot more VRAM than NVIDIA does. So I'll wait and see how that goes. Not only that, I do use NVIDIA noise suppression on my mic, so you can't hear the background noise, because my fan, for whatever reason, I cannot control my fan. I've been using the fan controller thing that you recommended, Ash, and I just can't get it to like slow down. It just keeps going. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
We may have to look over that later on, I guess. Because that's
yeah, we definitely gonna have to do that. Thanks, Geek, for taking a look at YouTube chat. I had my notes up there and I wasn't seeing any notification. I appreciate you saying hi to everybody.
I'll say one thing about the graphics cards is that I know there's a lot of like debates back and forth on like how much VRAM you should have, right? And I feel, for me, my personal experience, I feel like I'm on the teetering edge of the maximum VRAM you should have, because I have a 3080 that has 12 gigabytes of VRAM on it. So I'm kind of on like the cusp of how much you should have for a graphics card, right? And I was able to get good experiences out playing games on 4K on my LG C1 at up to 120 hertz and everything. And currently, right now, I'm playing a good amount of games off of my new ultra wide that I got for Christmas and everything. So it's the card is definitely putting in work, and it's definitely not struggling. It's struggling in the VRAM department. So I feel like people should take this and be like, okay, decide on what games you're playing and what resolution that you're playing at, because playing to games like 1080p and stuff, especially with textures and everything, will not require that much VRAM compared to like playing the same games at 1440p or at 4K or something like that. So that's the biggest thing that they need to look at is, hey, what am I aiming for when it comes to my own experience? Am I trying to aim for 4K high settings, 4K medium settings, 4K low settings, or insert resolution with this settings and stuff? You gotta look into that. Look at some benchmarks. do your research, and you'll be good to go. It's just I'm just been seeing this a lot about, hey, we it's a whole scare of, hey, we probably need to get more VRAM for this, more VRAM for that. I'm like, not all the time. That's my issue. So
Yeah.
just do your due diligence, look at the graphics card you want, and then just go from there. So
Geek, did you update your PC? Because your video and everything is looking a lot better than last time we
Um,
talked. No?
it's not. You know what I did? I updated my lighting.
that's what I was
Oh.
going to say.
I
Lighting too. I was going to say lighting.
end up
It
getting
does wonders.
this newer this newer light,
Yeah.
and it connects to. It's got the phone app, and it also can connect to your computer. And the reason why I got it is because I haven't done it yet, but you can connect it to Stream Deck. And so I want to incorporate it with just a little micro stuff. I can incorporate it with like Akasha, some of my bots,
Yeah.
and different things. So that's why I end up getting it. But
Is it
I
this?
am in the process. Yeah, it's like, do I have it up? It's like
It's the
hold on.
Elgato key light, isn't it?
Well, no, this one I have two. I got the Elgato ring light here, and
Oh,
then
okay.
so the newer light, I have a beam up here, so I was able to hook the light up to the beam.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And let me see if I can bring it. Hold on.
Yeah, I
It's
need
got
better
the
lighting. Like the light I have here is pretty decent, but like I think the temperature that this light is set at is not that good.
Yeah. What's cool about this thing too is like with that we can also change.
I
the
can put it
temperatures,
up,
too.
but it kind of washes out everything. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like it kind of washes out. Like if you look at my skin tone, it gets very light. I have to put it like at a lower skin tone, and now it starts putting the brownness on me.
You have more options. God
Yeah.
dang.
This is like, that's why I got it, because it's got, and I watched it.
That's why I got it.
That's what, bro.
That's cool.
Because I'm trying to look. I can switch up different things. You got party mixers. Look at my head shining. You actually have a picker where you can pick the thing. I be listening to music sometimes, just vibing for a minute.
Crazy.
Yeah,
You
that's
can do
kind
a
of
lot
cool.
of You can hook it to music. I haven't done like 90%. Let me fix it. I haven't done like 90% of the fixtures or some of the presets and stuff. But I will say this, and I'll get you guys help after the stream. But I am in the process. I need a new PC, so I have been talking to a couple friends and stuff about getting a new PC. So I got a price I want to get in, because the PC I have now is what, the HP Omen, so it's like 2017 I got it. So I just put some pieces and parts into it, but with all the stuff that I do, damn, that's bright. Well, all the stuff that I do on the computer, I need it to be stronger, better, faster.
Yeah.
I was trying to go stronger, better, faster.
I knew. Yeah, that's what came to my head.
Stronger,
Work it hard and make it better.
Kanye, yeah. I almost had. Where's my preset? But yeah, you can do a lot of different things with it. Hold on, let me turn it off.
That's cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, while you're doing that, we'll go ahead and talk about the next CES announcement. One that I think was a little bit better, and something we talked about a few podcasts back, was the Lenovo Legion Go. So all three models were officially announced. One of them being the Lenovo Legion Go S, which will have the Z2 Go chip, which is a Lenovo exclusive chip made with AMD. And it's going to come in two variants. There will be a SteamOS variant, and there is a Windows variant. The SteamOS variant, I believe, is... Shoot, I can't believe I forgot the price. I think it's $400 for that one. No, I believe it's $400, and the Windows variant's a little bit more. It'll have 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, and then there is the Lenovo Legion Go 2, which would be, the Mac Daddy that would have the Z2 Extreme chip, as well as 32 gigs of RAM and a terabyte of storage. That one is, I believe, $750, which undercuts the ROG Ally X by $50, which is pretty cool. And of course, the design was changed and more rounded. This one, the 2 would have an 8.8-inch display, 120 hertz. Where the other ones would have I believe it's a 7-inch display at 120 hertz. So it's pretty interesting. I'm glad to see that SteamOS was officially announced here, where this is the first party or the first partner that Steam is partnering with to release the SteamOS. And we do know it's coming to the ROG Ally soon. and they did mention some people were interviewing Valve there, where they are going to officially release it very soon, so that the public can go ahead and install it on their PCs and so forth, and you'll be able to use it on whatever platform you want. They also interviewed Microsoft, and Microsoft was on stage, and they did announce that they are creating a new game mode for Windows for handhelds. So it's going to be a more, I guess, handheld friendly version of Windows for better navigation, which is kind of nice. Like right now, like with the ROG Ally X, there's a lot of swiping, you're tapping on screens. Basically, it's like a Windows tablet, but with things like Armory Crate and all these other launchers that like MSI and Lenovo are doing, it makes it a little bit easier to pick out your games. Or you, of course, you can use big picture mode from Steam and navigate that way, which is a really good thing. It's pretty much what SteamOS uses. But yeah, there was a lot of cool announcements there, and I'm happy for that. I'm actually going to be keeping an eye out on the Lenovo Legion Go. You guys know I already have the ROG Ally X, I have the Steam Deck OLED, and this is probably going to be added to my collection, and I will do a review. And depending on how I like it, maybe this will be my main handheld. If not, I'll probably pass it on to my kids so they can go ahead and use that there. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the stuff that matters. Not saying that you guys don't matter, Lenovo, or anything like that, but let's talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 rumors. They just don't stop. They don't stop. Every week it's Nintendo Switch rumors, and it's crazy. Like I'm hyped. Like these people are hyping up the Nintendo Switch 2 more than Nintendo is, and of course Nintendo doesn't have to do that. But a lot of us want to hear it already. Like we want to see it. I was using my Switch today and yesterday. I was like, man, like I really can't wait for the Switch 2. Like I'm super excited about it. And these rumors keep bouncing. But before we start talking about the Switch 2 rumors specifically, I do want to take one step back and talk about a video that came out this week on Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Geek, have you played Xenoblade Chronicles X at all?
Where is it? I just repurchased it. And I got the physical Fantasian, by the way. Just
Oh, nice.
just because.
Yeah.
I had to. You got to order it. GameStop canceled it. It didn't tell me, so I came up there like a fool. And then they said, "Oh, we don't even have it in our system." Oh, they canceled it like 2 weeks ago. Like, call me. Yeah, I picked this up last year about this time last year, and I realized, you know what? They're going to probably make another one. And guess what?
Definitive Edition was announced.
They made another one. Well, at least I didn't start it. Another one.
No, so this game I was super hyped for. I had never played a Xenoblade Chronicles game when the game originally came out on Wii U. I had skipped one. For those of you who don't remember, there was Operation Rainfall that brought Xenoblade Chronicles to Wii over here in the US, and GameStop was exclusive for that. And if you didn't buy it at launch, basically, you had to buy it like at $100 later on because they were marking up the price to those games like crazy. The Last Story and Pandora's Tower were the 3 games that they got there. You got Last Story. Yeah, that artwork is amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Jesus.
Oh,
I still gotta play that game, man. I was trying through emulation, but
I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I know a place.
Mhm.
The one on the archives is actually. I have the game, but I'm just saying I play it on my Wii.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Anyway, you can get the skins. I got it for $10. I have to send you the site for the
Yeah.
place if he's still there. But he also has Breath of Fire 4, and he upscaled everything. So he went through it and upscaled the textures.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And it looks really nice. He has that, and oh man, you guys. So anyway, because I've been playing like with this new iteration when Archives after the year comes back because I'm just reruns. Skies of Arcadia is going to be in it.
Oh,
Skies of
nice.
Arcadia is one of those. Even I got that too, but Skies of Arcadia is one of those games that has the textures.
Yeah.
And the textures, I need to do a side by side, but then I kind of don't want to. No, I'm not going to do it. I don't want that heat because I'm playing it on my GameCube, Nintendo.
I mean,
yeah.
Skies of Arcadia is Sega, so you should be good. They're typically with Sega, you're good.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. Sometimes they'll find a way to DMCA you. Like honestly,
Yeah.
they'll find a way. Somebody, random people will claim your stuff.
Yeah, I hate that. That's
Um,
annoying.
Really annoying.
I did a Children of the Zodiac intro, and some random guy claims it, and I'm still like fighting. I'm like, okay, should I just change it? But I made sure to cut the trailer music into the intro,
Yeah.
and this dude is claiming it. So you're taking my stuff, bro. This is not yours.
Yeah. No,
You
you.
got like 250 subscribers, bro. Like, stop it.
Yeah, I had to argue with not argue, but I had to dispute so many when I was streaming Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like every song that comes out, bam, copyright claim, and then luckily it was who was it? He's a pretty big Final Fantasy YouTuber. I forgot his name. I personally don't never watch any of his videos, but I follow him on
Blitz,
Twitter. Who is
Blitz,
it?
Blitz.
No. Um,
Oh, I heard of
night
Blitz. I
sky,
heard of Blitz.
the Night Sky Prince.
Yes, Night Sky Prince, him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had wrote on there, he's like, hey, if you're streaming, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and you're getting copyright claims, just know that like, if it's not from Square Enix directly, then it's not Square Enix copyright claiming you and dispute all of it. And because I was afraid to dispute these things, because I was like, man, like I don't know if it's
Yeah.
a company
Oh,
they hired to go ahead and do that, because you don't know what could happen. You can get a copyright strike, you can get in trouble for that stuff if you dispute it and then you lose. So I went ahead and disputed them. Luckily, I was, winning everything. Only one of them I lost, and that's Dire Docs from Nintendo 64. The same
mm,
guy keeps going ahead and claiming it, and for whatever reason, it's not Nintendo copyright claiming it, but this guy gets away with it. And I was like, you know
yeah,
what, whatever. I just muted that whole thing. But luckily, all of that I've won, and I just put it in there. It's like, hey, you don't own this music. This music is owned by Square Enix. Like you have no right to any of this. And I usually win. The only one that I lost, I'm not lost, but the only one I didn't dispute, and I just put it so that I can't be monetized, is I did a Final Fantasy Versus 13 video, and the
mm.
trailer to Versus 13, Square Enix copyright claimed that,
Was
and I
that
was
the
like,
video that did? Was that? I hope that's not the one that did really well, because
it
you had
is.
one you did.
Yeah, so I make $0 on that video. It's my
That's crazy.
best video that I've done, and I make no money
Yeah,
off
I
of
know.
that video.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
They hammer me. But it's not a copyright strike. Like, I've
Hmm.
gotten one strike before, and that was because Octopath, and I didn't
Oh yeah, you
transform the
said
media. It was the jukebox, and I just had
yeah,
it looping for 30 minutes on a wallpaper, and I deserved it. And they took down Xenogears as well, which I should have known. I can't just loop it for 30 for 30 minutes. And
yeah,
like I said before, a lot of people who are claiming things and stuff like that are the people who got like 250 subscribers. And if you notice, like a lot of these music channels, they just keep it and cap it at that. So
yeah,
then that way they can just upload the music and not get in trouble, basically.
yeah,
But I get a lot of them. Um, because the archives is how it is transformative. I use that my media is being transformative under fair use,
yeah,
because I am giving credit to the game, and at the end and in the beginning, I try my best to show that give credit to who's does it,
yeah,
even with the beginning with the splash screens.
yeah,
I let people, this is not Quentin's thing. I just cut it. So I have like an actual this is how many copyrights,
yeah,
disputes I'll get. I have a template for like 3 different templates. I just copy and paste.
yeah,
Square Enix at Chrono Trigger, Corridors of Time, and the Final Fantasy VII, the opening.
yeah.
That
Aerith
one
theme.
always.
Yeah,
You've seen the Tales of Arise opening, right?
yeah.
On the archives.
I've seen
Okay,
it. Yeah.
so the best music is actually the original intro.
Hmm.
They just they wrote me back and was like, no, we don't see it. So I was like, okay, I won't. They actually wrote me back like, you can't use it. It's not transformative. This is like, so I was like, okay. So I had to kind of meet the music with the gameplay opening trailer, which it came out okay,
Yeah,
but it's something about when you hear those actual vocal songs, it makes you really feel like anime. But
yeah,
I'm not willing to not be monetized for the video just to play that 1 minute and 27 seconds.
yeah. Exactly right. It's sometimes it's just not worth it. But getting back to the original topic of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, man, I'm super excited because the biggest thing about this game, and you're gonna see this, it's a semi spoiler, but not really. I'm not gonna go into details, but it does leave Alpha on a cliffhanger, And I've said it multiple times on the podcast that was the biggest issue that people were upset about Xenoblade Chronicles X is it ends at a cliffhanger. And it's a cliffhanger that you're like, okay, what's next? Like, when are we getting to the next game? It's not like Xenoblade Chronicles 1 where it ends and then 2 starts and then 2 has an ending. So even if it stopped there, you're okay. You didn't have to worry about a 3. And 3 I feel also has a pretty decent ending too, where there's not a cliffhanger, except for the DLC kind of puts not a cliffhanger, but adds more questions than answers in the DLC. But X is amazing. Like, it's different from the other ones. The music is written by Hironobu. No, I'm thinking of Sakaguchi. I'm sorry. It's written by what's his name? Hiroyuki Sawano, who does like
Sawano.
Attack. Yeah, he does Attack on Titan music. He did Premiere. He's done a lot of like anime music, and he's top notch. Again, if you like the Attack on Titan soundtrack, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, this dude has amazing music. And I remember when Xenoblade Chronicles X first came out, people hated the music. I love the music. Like, they have the new LA track, because the main city hub is called New LA, and it's amazing. There's a daytime and a nighttime, and it's just like every song has a daytime, nighttime. I guess it's like that with all Xenoblade Chronicles game, but it's cool because the beginning, the daytime is like all rock, and people are like, "Oh, I hate this song," but then the nighttime becomes more of a little bit more hip hop mixed with like rock, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty dope." And the music's just great. It has the Sawano signature vocals, so every track has vocals in it. It has the English, German, like whatever language that he does his things in. They're always different languages, everything but Japanese. Because that's just the way Sawano rolls. He all his singers are Japanese, but they sing in a different language, just because he feels that that's what it should be. But anyways, the soundtrack was amazing. The biggest thing that I liked about it, and this goes all the way back on the Wii, it was one giant open world with a bunch of corridors and everything like that, and it literally had no loading. Like, there was the only loading place was in New LA when you go to like the mission hub area. That was it. But everything else, there was no loading. You go out into the field, it's straight there. It's not like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 where each zone is like a giant zone and then you go to the next area and then it changes. No, everything is just a seamless open world. Everything you go to in terms of caves or any of that is just one piece. That's it. Amazing technical, like what they did, what Monolith Soft did in that game was just magic. Beautiful world. The height in that game, I still believe there's nothing that comes close to that. The altitude you can reach, especially when you get into the scale, is so high that you can't even see the ground. You can go ahead and jump off, and it'll take you maybe a good 2 minutes or more for your character to drop all the way down. It is very, very high that you can go on. And of course, like distance wise, it's very far that you can go to. But the game's amazing, and they're adding kind of like all the other definitive editions. Well, I say all the other, but there's only one definitive edition, which is Xenoblade Chronicles definitive edition. They're adding more story content that looks to answer the questions of the cliffhanger, and hopefully it leads up to a part 2. Because if they go ahead and end it right there with just this DLC, then the game, in my opinion, would just be a failure. Because I feel like there's a lot more that can be told in this game. But the other thing that's pretty cool too is there's a bunch of concept art. So I have the collector's edition. I should have had it with me. It's in my room. I keep it there. And they have an art book like every other collector's edition. And there's a bunch of characters in there that you see, but you don't, or rather in the art book you see it there, but they never exist in the game. And this latest trailer, they showed them in the game that they will join your party, which was dope. One of them was like this lion dude that has like a lightsaber. He's not in the original game, but he's in the concept art. He's actually one of the main characters in the art book there that they show him, but he never appears in the game. And it's one of those things you're like, who is this guy? I've never seen him in the game at all. There's another female character that also just never shows up, and they showed her in there too. So it's nice to see that they're adding all these characters in the game. They were originally there.
That's awesome.
I never knew that because I never had the collector's edition. I just had the both times standard, so I didn't even know that.
There's a lot of stuff there. At the end of the game, not spoilers because they kind of show it already. But there's a guy who looks like he's from like Organization 13. He has the black coat and stuff like that. They finally show who he is, and everybody knows who that is because if you had the concept art, which I'm not gonna spoil that piece, but if you have the concept art, you see that person. But again, that person never appears in the game. They mention him, but he never appears. And now you see him there, which is pretty dope. So I'm excited for all of this because all these characters that were missing are now in there, and they're gonna get a more fleshed story.
I won't go. Thank you for telling me. I still haven't beaten it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 65% in. That was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I know now. I was about to go and look up the collector's edition art, but
yeah.
I
Don't, because some of it is. Yeah, some of it now with what they're gonna show, it will be semi spoilers. Now I would say because now they're gonna add that content. Back then, right? You look through it, you're like, oh, this is cool. But then like after you play the game, you're like, wait a minute, like these guys never show up. Like who are these guys? And it was always wondered. They'll tell you who they are and like what they do, but that's about it. But I'm just happy that all this is there, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Definitely a day one buy for me. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, definitely picking up too. It's weird because like I started emulating a Chronicles X not too long ago, and the fact that there's like so many amazing mods that makes the game like so much more cleaner and crisper. It's gonna like feel a bit suckish on going back to the Switch just to play a version that has way more content than the original.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping maybe that with the Switch emulation machine we could possibly have some possible mods and stuff. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe the Switch 2 can fill in that mold, hopefully. So,
well, I will tell you this too. Another thing I forgot to mention is they redid the character models, which is nice. They kind of made the artwork to like I guess the art style look a little bit closer to what like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has without being anime-ish, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because if you look at like Elma, how she looks in Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition versus how she looks in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as a what would they call it? As a blade, because she's like one of the like blades you can get from that arena that's like it's like a DLC arena that they added. Yeah. It's a different art style, right? So it's not really anime-ish, but they did clean it up and they look better. There is a negative to me, in my opinion, for that. It's story reasons why. I do feel like the way the characters looked in Xenoblade Chronicles X originally kind of made sense because of the story. But I do like the cleanup because they do look better overall. Like the facial features and like the structure, like they look more human, I guess. But after everybody plays it, we'll discuss it again. We'll go back to this so then you can kind of realize what I meant by more human and all that other stuff.
I see what you mean, though.
Yeah.
I definitely see what you mean. It makes sense.
Yeah, but it's a nice cleanup, too. Graphically, it looks like it's going to be good. The UI changes, too, is nice. Like, they changed the whole UI to make it make sense. The map is better utilized. There's one thing that was everybody kind of never understood was the overdrive mechanic. You get overdrive, which is kind of like a limit break that you can do, and then you can do all these combos. But it doesn't tell you what moves you need to use to either initiate the overdrive and to stay into the overdrive. You had to kind of guess on your own. And if you did one wrong move, then you exit overdrive. But now they have an overdrive helper menu on the right that will tell you exactly what moves you have to do to continue the overdrive and all that stuff, which is kind of cool. So yeah, they a lot of quality of life stuff in that they have going on. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. And like I said, day one buy. For sure. So let's go ahead and talk.
Digital or physical?
Oh man. So
physical all the way.
I want physical. I do want physical because I have every Xenoblade Chronicles game physical. Yeah. But today I noticed something. I was playing Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I was playing with somebody, and I noticed that their Switch in Smash Bros. Because they have digital, everything loaded up like instant. Where I noticed my game was taking forever to load up for certain things. And I'm wondering if it's my game cartridge slot going bad. So now I'm afraid. So now I'm debating, like, what should I do? I also was thinking of picking up the Nintendo Switch voucher to get both Brothership and this. Because I still want to get Brothership. And this is part of the voucher program. So I'm like, Like I don't know. Is Brothership worth it, Ash? Because I know you got it.
Oh but Brothership's hella fun. It's just I've been playing a lot of other games right now and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's a fairly short RPG. It'll probably take you like around 40 hours to complete. So
Okay.
yeah, um, yeah, it's just for me. Regardless, if there's some pauses for digital over physical, I just want my physical. That's all I want.
Yeah.
You know, the only exceptions I have for digital is PC gaming because
You can only
you
do
literally have no
digital.
other choice. Back
Yeah.
then, you had PC ROMs to mess with, but not anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's justifiable for you to get a digital copy for PC because 99% of the time they're going to be way cheaper than a physical copy of the game.
Yeah. That's true. Not with Nintendo stuff though. They're never cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to argue with the voucher stuff, then maybe I guess, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited. So let's talk about these Switch 2 leaks. Going back to CES, Genki had leaked what looks to be a render of the Switch 2. And it was very interesting. They had a display that was actually showing like a 3D render, and it was basically an ad of a new grip that they were going to be selling for the Switch 2. And that was kind of funny because people were noticing that they were taking videos and screenshots of that and showing it off on Twitter, and Twitter was going crazy over it. Supposedly, Nintendo, once they found out about that, they approached Genki at CES. And Genki had responded saying that they did not sign any NDA, so they were not in trouble and they didn't do anything wrong. Nintendo's president finally made a statement saying that those are not official renders and they did not have anything to do with that, which is funny. Or they said the design is not official or something like that. So it kind of made people were kind of speculating. Okay, so you're saying that you know this could be legit. You're just saying that it's not an official render by you. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Did you guys see that leak and that render of the whole Switch
Yeah.
2?
It's real. It's the fact that Nintendo was trying to approach them to begin with. Oh, it already tells you that they know something that they don't,
Mm-hmm.
and Genki already knew their legalese and stuff, and was able to fight back with it. And I
Yeah.
mean, listen, that's on Nintendo in general for putting the stuff out already. How did Genki know on what the Switch looks to begin with? You must have somehow,
Yeah.
I don't know, push out the test kits out to every vendor out there or something like
Yeah.
that without putting out NDA, which is why there's so many leaks coming out right now. Right?
Yeah.
That's literally Nintendo's fault for not handling certain information correctly. So
Yeah. Hey Jesse, what's up, man? Yeah, Jesse was the one I was playing Smash Bros against today, and that's how I noticed his Switch
He
was
said
loading up
good
faster than mine. Yeah.
match.
So what about you, Geek? What do you think about those leaks? Did you take a look at those leaks?
You know what? To be real with you, I've only seen them on stuff on Instagram, so I've saved it, bookmarked it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't dig too far into it. I'm gonna do my best to make it quick, but two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, we've been on these rumors. The Switch is 8 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
In March 20th. Was this 20th or the 17th? But the Switch is 8 years old.
20th, I believe. Yeah.
So it's time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm tired. I used to make videos about the Switch all the time and what we should see, what we do. And you know what happened? Nintendo is Nintendo. And that just leads to my next point because I see the market Nintendo has. They're just like Disney. Why go outside of your market? But for somebody who's been playing Nintendo legit for decades and starting at the OG Nintendo, I just kind of want to see more, honestly. And I would actually like to see it's not going to happen. But remember the Nintendo family of games? I would like to see a Pro that is what we want, or at least semi to what we want. At least like decent, where we can get other third-party games on the damn system.
Yeah.
And that could be extra money. We're buying the PlayStations and Xboxes.
Yeah.
So you can do that. then give us a hybrid, and then give us a, because you're doing it kind of like anyway. Just give us a pro too. Just give us a pro as well. Well, we can. It doesn't even have to be 4K. Just be like a base, 1080p or 60 frames per second. Just give us modern day graphics so we can get other games. I would play my Nintendo a lot more if I could play third party games, a lot of third party games on Nintendo without being boo boo butter. Like that GTA is atrocious. 2K. I bought it for
Yeah.
3 years, and it's not the same. People, you could just buy it. It's like something you buy for your kids, and then you just let them play just so they can say they playing the same thing, or your little brother or sister. Oh, okay, you got the 2K, but you ain't on the real 2K. That's kind of like what I want to see.
Yeah.
I've seen the rumors, but I just want to see more. Like I want to see more from Samus. I wanted to see. Don't have to make every game open world, but I did want to see Samus is almost as much open world, or should have been, as Link, because her job is she's a bounty hunter. Where have we really been out there bounty hunting, like actually doing bounty hunts, not just
Yeah.
one isolated space? And I know Miyamoto's stepped down from a lot of stuff, but I feel if he was still in control of things or creative process, he would have did like he did with, they were making a Metroidvania type game for the GameCube, and he went in and looked at it and said, "Start over."
Yeah.
And that's when the first person shooters came out. What game was out around that time? Well, it was Halo, right
Mhm.
around almost simultaneously. So he was like, "Do it new." I don't think that we should have went right back to another first person shooter with Metroid. And also even more, and I know I just didn't jump subjects, but still in the same ballpark, is it should have been on the Switch too, or whatever it's going to be called.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I know you don't want to isolate your market, but still, I mean, you got to have a game that people are going to want to go buy another Switch for.
Mhm.
And I just think graphically, I thought the I thought it was I thought it was Metroid Prime 2 or 3 remastered when it showed up on one of those directs. Honestly, it was a couple other folks in my chat. They were like, "Was that like the H?" I didn't know that it was 4 until they showed some of the new enemies and stuff. But yeah, that's just my POV from the
Yeah.
Switch. I'm gonna buy it,
we
but yeah.
last podcast we talked about that, about Metroid Prime 4, and my theory is that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the game they utilize to show you the difference, right? You're going to be like, oh, here's the Switch version of Metroid Prime 4, but if you want to play the best version of Metroid Prime 4, here's how it runs on the Switch too. And it's going to be that game that kind of shows you, kind of like almost with Breath of the Wild, they had it on Wii U, right? It also came to Switch, and there was a lot more benefits for the Switch version than the Wii U version. So a lot of people went with the Switch version. Not only that, everybody wanted to switch over to Wii U, and nobody had a Wii U to begin with, except for like me and like you, geek. Like that's it. Like nobody else had a Wii U.
I was given mine. That's the only Nintendo I didn't buy. I did not rally behind the Wii U. I knew it was
Really,
gonna happen.
I was hyped
Nope.
before that. I got the Wii U, and then we went Black Friday shopping back then when it opened up at midnight, right, on Black Friday, and went to Old Navy, and Old Navy was giving out for their first like 50 or 100 customers. They gave out Super Mario Brothers U for free. So we went there and I got a free game. Was pretty cool. But yeah, I
Just
feel
tired
like
of playing Mario, James.
you're
Just
tired.
tired of the same. I'm tired of the same concepts. But
Yeah.
Nintendo is just, for me personally. And
Hmm.
I know, and just like you guys were talking about computers earlier,
Yeah.
we gotta vote with our dollar. How many times do we complain about playing the same games, but we keep buying the same games, the
Yeah.
same genre and same type of games? If you don't buy it, you don't. And I do it. I don't even play Skyrim, and I own Skyrim like 6 times.
Yeah.
But it's just like you buying these games, and we're just perpetuating it.
Yeah.
And just like with Brotherhood, I've watched some people play Brotherhood, but it isn't a transformative story, and I understand why Nintendo don't want to play licenses.
Brotherhood or
Geez,
brothership? You mean?
Brothership. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Mario and Luigi,
Yeah.
the new one that just came out.
Mm.
But it doesn't look to me. It's not revolutionary
Hmm.
as Mario RPG was. So it's one of those things for like because you're only boxed in that Nintendo world,
Yeah.
and so it's like that's why I think personally, I'm gonna let you finish. I just had to say that Sonic is a better character than Mario,
Mm.
better world, but Mario has better games because he's more consistent.
Yeah.
Mario is like he's just everywhere. Like Sonic's fan base is broken up like an eggshell. We don't know what the Sonic game is we're supposed to rally behind.
Yeah.
And he's changed so drastically from attitude Sonic to dude Sonic. Like he
Yeah.
became Goku overnight. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Sonic. Fun fact: I've been playing Sonic CD. Soundtrack's amazing. The Japanese version of the soundtrack, amazing. Never the American version or the Western version, whatever you want to call it. The Japanese version of Sonic CD is the best. Has the best soundtrack. Like everything about that game is cool, and the whole like future pass mechanic is dope too. Like I really like that. But yeah, like with me, like I'm happy with with Nintendo games. Like I'm on the opposite side with you. Like, but at the same time, I understand you, and I also get it too, because it's like there was a post by somebody earlier. They was talking about like, hey, I love all these old RPGs, but you know, at least in the PS1 era, we had new RPGs all the time. Like there are so many different
That's it.
variants. Like you can name so many different RPGs. It's not just Final Fantasy 7, 8, or 9. You know, you had Chronicles, you had Xenogears, you have Legend of Legaia, you had Legend of Dragoon, you had Wild Arms 2. Like you had a good variety. Suikoden, right? All of that stuff. There was a big variety, and nowadays it's just like, when's the next Final Fantasy? When's the next Persona? um,
Let
and
me
I.
let me say this too, real
Mhm.
quick, James, because this is what this is what I'm saying. Like Nintendo purposely does this sometimes. Like, are you doing it on purpose? Like, why didn't
Yeah.
Pokemon have voice acting? And those are the little things I'm saying. Like, and we're buying it. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. I'm like, I still buy the games, bro. And I'm part of the problem. Like, I still buy the games, but I'm just like, okay, when I'm playing it, and I'm not saying PlayStation or I buy games. I don't care about the system. If the game is good, I'll buy it on it. It doesn't matter. But like Pokemon with that, like it's just like, well, what do you? This feels to me like I guess maybe I just want more meat on my plate. Honestly, I just don't. I just how many times am I gonna save the princess? I was born in the 1900s. I've been playing Mario. I've been. You still ain't. Okay, say that. You still haven't got your prize, Mario. Link. You're still out here like you're not talking, bro. And Mario used to say phrases. He's digressed. It feels like there's no continuity to the stories. I get it. Kids love it. I've done too many years of retail. They love it. Give a kid. It's like they do. Mario. That's just someone play Mario. Oh, I can be Luigi. Oh, it's a girl. So they have their market. But for folks who've been playing the game since the late 1900s, it's just like, and you can hear it in a lot of things, a lot of posts, a lot of people. That's why they still label Nintendo even more so the kiddie system. Like, oh, get it for your kids. It's cheaper. It's colorful. And I'm just saying, for me, when Nintendo was at power, I remember those days.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, it's not going to ever happen. But I like to see them compete. The games are good, but it's like movies nowadays. We're just doing the same thing. Like you just were saying about the old RPGs. Mario Odyssey was not as revolutionary as even Sunshine
Yeah.
and Mario
I
64
agree
changed.
with that. I agree with that
And then
actually.
before that, and then Super Mario 3 changed the game.
Yeah.
Even Doki Doki, which is weird as it was the Japanese thing, and they just threw it together at the last minute, that was completely different. Like
Yeah.
people get mad when I say that Tears of the Kingdom is like DLC, but it did not do anything that Breath of the Wild hadn't already done.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like my my debate for which my game of the year was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was the fact, yeah, we know what's gonna happen with Aerith. It's like we know what happened with our Darth Vader. That's not a spoiler. It's just common knowledge. Everybody knows what's gonna happen. So but being able to rebirth something and relive something that was polygons to humans, that is some kind of transformation. And they did add some other little different nuances and parts. But if I'm playing Mario and bro, how many times, at least with the movie, it went into some kind of canonical story. It's like a comic book. Whoever's the new writer just changes the story. It's the same thing.
I with the Rebirth comment, I would disagree with the analogy. I would think Rebirth to me is, you could say, argue that that's DLC for Remake, which technically speaking, because it's all one game, right? Broken up to 3 pieces. It's not like I mean, you can argue that too with Dot Hack. Dot Hack had 4 games, but it's all one cohesive story.
Yeah, I can't agree with that at all, because one was just in an isolated situation and the other is an open world.
Yeah.
So if that was that game, listen, bro, you do content. Come on, James, don't make me do a
Breath of the Wild.
Do not make me do the close up. Let me do the close up. And the reason why I'm gonna do the close up.
I think it's too close, man.
It's because of the fact. The reason why I gotta do the close up is because of the fact. Yes, I'm defending a Rebirth because of the fact that that the amount of memory and the how big that game would have to be to do what Remake and Rebirth did, we still be waiting on it to be complete today. The issue with Tears of the Kingdom is it just looks like it took the same exact engine and just made it in the sky. I'm a Zelda fan too.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
God, I don't want to do it. I got the 1987. Where is it? I've gotten the gold Ocarina of Times. One of my favorites is the Minish Cap. I was there. I love Zelda like you do. But my point is, what I'm trying to say is they built an extra world and made it open. Remember, we didn't even know if it was just going to be corridors for Rebirth. Rebirth was what we've been asking for from a Final Fantasy since 10, really, even though 12 had an open world. 15 and the rest of them weren't like that. And we got it, and it's different. Like, Remake is more like 13 when it comes to the fact that you're just kind of really going in the same direction. You didn't really have any choice of where you were going. It was a straight freaking line in Midgar. Tears of the Kingdom, just more people talked about Tears of the Kingdom when it came to building lowriders and making TikTok videos than we knew anything about the story or the characters. We got a very endowed waifu, which Quentin is not complaining. That's my real name, for those all don't know. I like my waifus. But I'm just like, and it is no shade on Zelda, because people get so sensitive with the Zelda. I know I'm getting a little sensitive with the Final Fantasy, but I love them both. What I'm saying is, for them to make, and that's like freaking, no, Ocarina of Time was like an open world. So it's like taking, I can't even think of like what, Link to the Past, and then making a full 3D open world to it, and then adding all these extra things to it. I can't see that as DLC. That's better than the Elden Ring DLC that was nominated for Game of the Year.
You're 100% around that.
Well, I mean, everybody disagreed with Elden Ring being nominated for Game of the Year. But like I said, in me, I'm looking at the different perspective. I argue that, yes, it went from open world to corridors, but Breath of the Wild, you could kind of argue the same thing. It went from open world to now you have the sky area and the underground. So they expanded on what it already had. It wasn't just the same map. There was a lot more going on in that. It expanded on the temples. They expanded on story. They actually had a story versus the Breath of the Wild didn't have that. So like each setup actually had a story section, and then you go through with all of that. So they actually had a lot more cutscenes in it, a lot more voice acting in it. So Yeah, I would argue that.
Voice acting.
Yeah,
Nintendo?
yeah. Or Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild have voice acting.
Just
I mean, yeah, they do have voice acting. Yeah,
Yeah,
they've been having that. Oh, I see what
I see what you're
oh,
saying.
okay. I didn't know.
Yeah,
The Pokemon got voice acting? Did Samus
Pokemon.
talk?
The trailer did.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding.
She did talk in Fusion. She did talk.
No, in
Did she talk in other
in
M?
other M.
Metro
Yeah, I was gonna say in other
Other
M.
yeah.
Which and see, and you're right. I'm on the opposite a lot of times because I actually like other M because it gave Samus, regardless if she was whiny or if she whatever what people was talking about,
Mhm.
it gave it a different perspective. It gave it a story. Look, it
It
didn't
was more story
do that
focused.
well, which Nintendo did. They was like, okay, we're never doing this again. It's not selling enough, so they went back to what their tried and true is, and that's all my point is. It's it's not going to change, and this is what my whole thing with the Nintendo thing. Why I'm not
Mhm.
excited about it as much as with the Switch,
Yeah,
because we knew from the ashes. See what I did there? From freaking the Wii U that something had to be better, or
yeah,
Nintendo was going to go bankrupt. They were going to be
yeah.
the new Sega because the Wii U was abysmal compared to any other of the Nintendo system, especially coming out off of the Wii. So it's just that I would like to see personally Nintendo take a few more chances, bring back some other things. Can we, Mike Jones? Give me Star Tropics. Give me something. Can we get a Mother 3 at least? Like, you're baiting me. This is the money grab.
Yeah.
This is the thing that gets me is because you're giving us past things we've asked for a generation ago, and we're gonna buy it. How
Yeah.
many times have you bought Mario 3? How many times have you gotten Donkey Kong Country? You know what I'm saying? It's just these,
Yeah.
like, we're asking you for different things, and we want it. We'll buy it.
Yeah.
We'll pay the extra money for an upgraded system, or or we can have like they did with what was the last Metroidvania game that came out?
Dread?
Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
You can simultaneously have a Dread and a piece to those people, and then give us another one. I just don't understand certain things.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Why
Going with
Nintendo want to be
Prime.
silent protagonists? I know they want to get it through they want to make like it's through our point of view,
Yeah.
but my point of view is I'm going to be talking. I'm going to say something to Zelda.
Yeah.
If it's a joke or if it's something and I get a negative point, something.
See, I'm on the side that I don't mind silent protagonists. Like, even like Surge, right?
Well,
Like,
Dragon Quest is your favorite series.
that's true. Yeah, and Dragon Quest has
I am
Silent-
tired of silent
but Surge
protagonists.
Surge
I'm
and
sick
Chrono
of it.
Cross was silent the whole time. Chrono and Chrono Trigger
I'm not,
silent.
bro.
You
I know
know,
you love
Mario and Mario RPG was silent.
Well,
That
but
doesn't
that's
mean I
what I
like
mean.
it.
But see, that's what was surprising to me because I grew up on Mario Super Show, so I remember Mario talking. I
Mhm.
remember him even talking in a cartoon.
Yeah.
So we knew that he couldn't talk in 1988 or 1989 or 1990
Yeah.
on Mario 3 or Yoshi. But when we get to Mario RPG, that was my first legit RPG. Why is everyone else talking and he's not talking?
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger is my favorite game, and one of my homegirls was playing it because she plays it every year. She was like, he said Chrono Trigger is the best game ever. It's perfect. I said, it's one thing, and that's my favorite game. She said, what is it? Because I'm curious if it's your favorite game. What is it? I said, Chrono doesn't talk. There's actually a modder because look at Cloud doesn't talk that, but give me freaking Hero. That's what I named him on Metaphor. Where he just barely talks.
Yeah.
Or even Gran on what you call it, allow me just talk, but allow me to give the options.
Yeah.
Dragon Age 1 did that to me and hurt me. It was so many scenes that I would like to hear the character voice actor talk. Everything else in the game is around me. This ain't VR, and I'm talking to the characters. We ain't there yet. That's just some of my pet peeves with it. That's what Link has. When you have a talking character, it shows emotion. It's hard. They're just stoic, Chrono included. You could tell if Chrono was really into Meryl, or if Luca was trying to bring Chrono to the time machine here, the splitter here, so that way she can impress him because she actually liked him too. They both were 17 years old. You ain't gonna tell me one of them like each other. But anyway, and then Meryl come. All right, but anyway, I'm
Well,
sorry. I went on a
you might
tangent.
like this new rumor from Nate the Hate. Going back a few topics ago before we went on to the voicing thing. Rumor from Nate to Hate has said that Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are both bound to Nintendo Switch 2, with Remake coming out this year and Rebirth coming out next year. I will put in another asterisk because it's not only Nintendo Switch. Apparently, it's also coming to Xbox this year. So Final Fantasy VII Remake will both come at the same time on Switch 2 and Xbox this year, and then Rebirth next year at the same time. And PlayStation still gets the like exclusive, like for the third part, they'll still have the exclusive rights for that, and then it'll come out to the other platforms later on, like they've done with Remake and Rebirth. There, so that you might like. The other rumor too about this is part of the launch lineup, which you will kind of like in terms of the performance side, is Red Dead Redemption 2 apparently will also be coming out at launch as well with this system. On the side that you might not like is, and this one I find it, I'm not sure if I believe this side of the leak. They're saying that Mario Kart 9 will be a launch game and a new 3D Mario game, which I don't buy the Mario Kart 9. A new 3D Mario game, I will stick to that because last podcast I said that I truly believe that the next 3D Mario game will be on Switch too. Because they need like that software that's going to catch people's eyes. It was Breath of the Wild before. I don't think Metroid Prime 4 is that. Even though it's going to catch a lot of people's attention. It's just not like, it doesn't have the Zelda power or the Mario power, right? Mario Kart 9 would be a nice system seller. I don't know if they would launch with both a new 3D Mario game and a new Mario Kart at the same time. I feel like that's just too much.
It
Right?
did it for 64, but that was a while ago.
Did Mario Kart launch with 64? I thought Mario 64 came out on
It
its own.
launched like within the same couple days.
Did it? Okay.
You can
I,
double
I
check. Yeah,
thought,
you can double
yeah,
check.
I thought it was a few.
It's
Yeah.
because my friend's mom went to the store to buy Mario 64, but she accidentally bought Mario Kart, which ended up being better because all the kids in the neighborhood, you just come to my friend's house and play it. That's how they were like right at the same time because he had a 64 before everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So December 14th, 1996 was Mario Kart 64. And then Super Mario 64. June 23rd. So
Oh, okay.
6 months apart. Yeah. Which would have been
Okay.
similar to
So
like,
he got it. He got it around Christmas. So
yeah. Similar to like Odyssey came out in like August or something like that. And then Mario Kart, I think, came out in December. Or something like that. I know they were
that's
like
smart.
a
Yeah,
few
that's
months.
smart of Nintendo.
Yeah.
I just
Versus,
remember I
yeah,
thought
doing it
that
a
they
few
got
months apart makes sense, but at the same day, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Nintendo might have like one game and might have like a 1-2 switch like type game, and then they'll rely on third parties. But I don't see them putting both of their top tier games. Right, Mario Kart sells billions of
It's
copies.
the highest
It's
selling game.
yeah, it's their highest selling game of this generation, and it's like I don't think they're gonna they're definitely gonna want to get out sooner rather than later because it is a system seller. Every time we talk about that at retail. Every time somebody asks, "Hey, I'm buying a Switch. What game should I get?" One of the first games you recommend is Mario Kart because it's a fun game to just play. But yeah, another rumor was that Elden Ring was coming to Nintendo Switch too as well, which I could see because if you look at their strengthening partnerships with software publisher slide that they did, it shows From Software on that list. So I believe that. It shows side games as well, which means we'll probably get Grand Blue Fantasy Relink on there, maybe.
See, this is my thing again with it is that's a beautiful thing. And
Yeah,
like again, I was for GTA. I bought 2K for 3 years.
yeah,
The games were inferior. If the games are inferior
yeah,
to if they're if they're below the last system,
yeah,
then the only thing people are going to be playing it for is just the Nintendo games, which always happens.
yeah,
And I was writing it down. Y'all been seeing me write. I always take notes.
yeah,
And I've said this many times before. I've been doing videos on that since 2016, 17. if Nintendo used their innovativeness, what I would really love to see now, I don't know if they'll do it, but if they had some way to make a low cost virtual reality, because they were the first people to jump into VR a long time ago with the Virtual Boy, and if they were able to incorporate something like that with their games, like they did with the motion with Switch, like their
Yeah.
thing is they're a gaming company. They're not Sony. They don't have all the movie backgrounds and all this other stuff. They're in anime now, and they're not Microsoft with the computer backgrounds. They're just a gaming company. Started as a
Yeah.
car company, they're a gaming company. So I would like to see them do something innovative, which would compensate for, because if Elden Ring sucks on it and it looks way worse than
Yeah.
it does everywhere else, the same thing. These are big games,
Yeah.
and then not only are they big games, the time they'll come out will be like 2 years later sometimes. And
Yeah.
Persona Royale, which is one of my favorite games, it should have been a launch title.
Yeah.
It should have been a game that was at least within the first year. It goes with the Switch like ham do burger.
Yeah.
They could have promoted that so much and actually had Akira, I call him Akira, actually had him inside with the Switch in the game.
Well, don't
But
forget.
you know,
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget that Persona Atlas was PlayStation only for the longest time. It wasn't until 4 Golden released on PC that people
what
started
year
saying,
was
"Wait a
that?
minute."
2020?
Yeah, I think it was 2020. Like it was announced like at the PC E3 thing or whatever. PC.
Yeah, it was a PC gaming show.
Yeah, the PC gaming
Okay,
show. There we go. And then that's when
but
people were like, "Wait a minute, are you saying we can get
it come
Persona
out to
on Switch now?"
2022 though, didn't it? The Royale didn't come out to 22, right?
Yeah, Royal didn't come out till
That's
after.
so
Yeah,
right.
the
Almost that's sort of crazy, but
yeah.
right when that thing opened up, they should have been there. And
Oh
what
yeah, for
company was it?
sure.
It was Bandai. It was Bandai Namco when they dropped Tales of Arise. They were like, we probably should have been. They seen the success that Square Enix was having with the
Yeah.
HD 2D, and they were like, we should have been on board faster too.
Oh yeah.
That's my own thing. I'm not waiting. I'm
No, I
gonna
agree
get the
with you with
game for the
that.
system that's right there. So
Yeah.
Elden Ring, it will be a nice thing, but everybody in Elden, they rings out already by now. It was the game of the year a while ago.
Mhm.
It's been what, 2 years?
Yeah.
So people will still like to play it on the go, but if it's inferior to this, the look at all the handhelds in your collection, it has to be on par with the highest one or better.
Yeah.
It just that's all I'm saying is it just I'm gonna buy it. I'm a Nintendo fan, but that's just my thing. It's like the Wii, you knew exactly what they were doing. Like they got what is going to be the niche? What is
Yeah.
going to be their novelty with this new system?
I'll
If
tell
it's not
you.
competing, what is it going to be?
I'll tell you when it comes to that, I don't think there is anything. Remember, because Iwata's gone. There's no more Iwata.
Yeah,
Iwata was the innovator. The new
yeah,
president of Nintendo is not an innovator. He's a business guy.
yeah,
So he's a
yeah.
like I kind of already accepted the fact that the Nintendo that we knew from back then that was innovating is gone. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I hope I'm wrong. Like, but I'm setting my expectations low for that part because they're gonna go with money, which is why the name's gonna be switched to. Like, if this was Iwata, it wouldn't be called the Switch. It would probably be something totally different. He would not just copy and paste what he did before, right? He went, I guess the closest you got to
That's what
copy and
happened with the Wii
pasting,
U.
yeah,
It was the Wii U. That's what happened with the Wii U.
yeah. I mean, I would
Like
say,
people didn't. I was working retail just like you.
mhm,
I was the manager at Toys R Us and in LA, and
yeah,
everybody that came in, all the parents who spend their money, they thought it was just an accessory,
yep,
and nobody bought it.
hmm,
Nobody was buying it. You can check the numbers.
yeah,
Was buying it because they said, "Oh, it's just a week. It's just a thing." Oh, core gamers bought it, but
yeah,
it wasn't a consumer success like the Wii or the Switch
yeah.
or the 64
No, I
or Super
agree.
Nintendo.
I would say like, yeah, the only scenarios, which is funny because they're literally around the same time frame that you can argue they were copy paste was Wii and Wii U, right? Um, and DS to 3DS. Like they were pretty much the same thing. 3DS just added 3D and was a little bit more powerful. Where Wii U was, well, of course, added the what's it called, the tablet controller and a little bit more powerful. Again, that was it. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. But moving on with the other rumors, Actually, no, I think I already did that. The leak. Oh, also the supposedly this one I don't really trust because I don't know the source, and supposedly this is it. And I've seen a couple people kind of like copy and paste it and talked about this, so I don't believe this one. So take this one with a huge grain of salt. And I usually don't like speaking about sources that I don't really believe in because usually, like if you watch the podcast ever, I'm typically spot on with the people I believe, and it usually comes in like Nate the Hey I trust because he was the one that mentioned Silent Hill 2 remake a long time ago, and I believed him. Like he mentioned Metroid Prime 4 coming soon, Metroid Dread. Typically everything he's talked about has come to fruition. What was the other? There was something else recently too that he mentioned that was true. I can't really remember, but it's a lot of stuff. He also mentioned a long time ago that that he mentioned Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was done before it even got announced. He said Xenoblade Chronicles 3's been done. They've just been sitting on it, and then it gets announced at the same direct as Splatoon 3. And then we find out that Splatoon 3 gets delayed, and they moved up Xenoblade Chronicles, and they swapped spots. And then he was like, yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was done a long time ago. Nintendo likes to announce games, or when they do the announcement, typically the game's already done. Metroid Prime is being one of the few examples, Bayonetta being one of the few examples. But for the majority of the time they try to do that, he's talked about that there's a Fire Emblem remake that's already done that they haven't announced. The rumor was that this Fire Emblem remake is Genealogy of the Holy War, which from Super Nintendo era.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, I would love that one because that one I've never played. There's a fan translation, and the only thing I know about that is the maps are huge. That's it.
I play a little bit of it. It's a really fun game. It's quite different. I really hope that's true. Because that will be, if the maps stay the way they are when it comes to like size.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that will look on the Switch too. I think that would be really really.
That'd
awesome.
be dope. One thing that I kind of like pointed out, which kind of made sense, and there was somebody else who I pointed out too, is that which is why they believe it's Genealogy of the Holy War, is that Sigurd was the main like person that in Fire Emblem Engage, like he was kind of like the main person that he did the most talking. He was the most like how can I put it, the main old school Fire Emblem character that always talked, right? It was really Sigurd and Marth, of course. Marth is everywhere, but Sigurd was the one that was really talking, and his game is again Genealogy of the Holy War. That's where he's from. So I was like, okay, that makes sense, and that's why they had a lot more renders, and this was going to be how he looked, of course, in the actual game. So that's pretty cool. So I do believe that. He also mentioned like a couple of other games that have been done. They're just sitting on it, but Nate the Hay is somebody I believe. But anyways, going back to this leak here. According to the person who leaked the PS5 Pro and Alarmo, which I don't know if he is the guy that did that, and, Brian had mentioned this too. This Friday will be the Switch 2 announcement.
Yeah, and January 17th, right?
Yeah. Or no. Yeah. 17th. I'm sorry. And then on March 3rd will be the Switch release date. I don't know if I believe this rumor. Like at first I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, but then I started doing some researching, and I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, what do you guys think? You think this rumor is just like BS, or do you think it's legit?
When did the original Switch first got released?
March. Geek said it earlier. It was March for sure.
March 20th.
Okay, fair. Okay, I was gonna say, all right. Man, announcing this console and then saying that you got 2 months to buy it. Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I could see the 2-month thing because they announced it in January, right? When the original Switch got announced, like they did a showcase, they did a trailer in November, December, right? And then they said more to come. And then the official announcement where they actually talked about it came out in January. And then the game, of course, the Switch announced in March. So if they want to repeat what they did back then, I can see that happening. But again, I don't recommend. Actually, it was today, January 12th, 8 years ago. Yeah, there's a tweet on that right now. January 12th, 8 years ago is when it was announced.
I'm thinking about this. It's just like I would have believed in the rumor more if the leaker said that the console was going to be released like sometime during the summer. And the fact that they got a like literal direct date, like the exact date when it's coming out, though, it just that's what bothers me too. Because normally they'll say, "Oh, this released by mid Q2 or something like that," but no, bro said, "Listen, we're going to get an announcement on this date, and we're going to get we're going to get this console. The console's going to hit the streets on this date." And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so that's something. It's just I don't know. I um I'm I'm still gonna go by with Nintendo. They're gonna say they're gonna announce the new Nintendo Switch iteration by the end of quarter 1. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's gonna happen between January to March, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. Now, actually getting the console onto the streets before the end of quarter 1, that's kind of that's kind of sketch to me. I'm not too sure. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, and there's a reason why I think that, but unfortunately I can't say it on stream. Um, but companies do that before they end their quarter. Sometimes they announce things and they release things because you can kind of maximize your profits there.
Mhm.
There's I'm looking here on this. There's apparently in January 8th somebody posted it. I guess on the what is this like in Europe? I guess the European version of Amazon. They have the Pokemon ZA apparently release date, which might be August 15th of this year, and then supposedly it says March 15th for the Switch 2 for an Amazon listing. But I don't know if that's legit. Like there's a lot of people pointing out to they're guessing March, so like I don't know how I feel about that. Geek, what's your take on this leak of the actual release date? Do you think that it's going to be a March release date and this Friday an announcement, or you think it's going to be later?
I think it's very possible.
Hmm.
Because of the date that it came out, because if like you were saying with all the rumors and a lot of the rumors of how it looks, the prototypes and everything to be true, I can see them doing that. And now we're in the information age. People remember what happened to The Last of Us too.
Yeah.
That whole open. I personally think that is the reason why the game wasn't as loved as the original one, is because not just because of Abby, but because of the situation. It was leaked. But what I'm getting at is a lot of people, they will risk it all to leak because it's beneficial to them to leak.
Yeah.
So that's very possible. The more you were talking about it, I was kind of skeptical at first, but the more you were talking about it, it was like that kind of sounds like it could be plausible. Like it actually could happen. Um, it was something else I was gonna say that you had mentioned. I can't remember offhand, but yeah, I really think that it is possible. Um, we could see the switch to I don't like that name. We could see
Yeah.
something like right like soon because it needs to be something ASAP. It was something else I was gonna say. I can't remember, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'll
I'm
I'll, I'll
looking.
put my I'll put my hand up when when I remember.
No, I'm here looking, trying to see if I could find like any people that try to like agree with that, because like VGC, which is usually pretty good, says an accessory maker says that the Switch 2 is to release in April. So it's like March and April seems that Nintendo Switch 2 would reportedly release in Q1 20. Oh wait, that's an old tweet. Is this other one an old tweet? Let me see. Uh, what up? No, it was January 8th. So yeah, it's interesting. I don't know what to really think about this. We were saying, I was telling Ash in the last podcast, we were kind of giving our guesses, and I said summer. Go ahead.
I remember now.
Yeah.
Is let's just think of the amiibos. What did
Hmm.
Nintendo do with the amiibos? that they could be doing the same thing with the Switch. It's supply and demand. If they only release a certain amount, then what they'll do is run the market like they did. They did that. What was other? It was another console they did that with. Where they only had so many, or they only had so many, and then they brought them out, and it made it people wanted it more, and that's one of the reasons that people were like, "I gotta have it," and they were flipping it on eBay and everything for like extraordinary prices. But Nintendo could run something like that, and then they can get a better estimate of what people want from it, and then they can manufacture those. So it is possible, because it wouldn't be the first time that a console, matter of fact, almost looks like a lot of recent consoles run
Yeah.
out um of consoles before people can get them. So I can, that's what made me, when I was thinking about it, that's what makes it feel like it is possible, because if they're going to do it, the best time to do it would be like mid January, and it is it's the 12th right now on my end still. So it's very possible. We need to get the prediction videos ready, because that's
Yeah.
but right beforehand. Yeah, right beforehand, just in case. That's
Yeah,
it.
but yeah, I'm trying to look through it and try to figure out if I can find more of anything, but nope, nothing.
I just want to know what it is, so I can just put my ducats to the side. I can put my rupees to the side
Yeah, I think
for it.
that's what we all want to do. Like, it's mainly price. Like, I need to know price. Like, we live in a world where you got to save up money. Like, you can't just.
They're
Yeah, go
saying
ahead.
according to Canada, it's going for
Yeah,
like $400. So I'm assuming in the United States it would be like 350 or something like that.
yeah. Which
Yeah, I
three
don't like that
fifties?
price.
You don't like 350?
No,
Or you want
I mean, of course, but I don't like that price, because the cheaper it is, the weaker it
performance?
is.
Yeah,
The cheaper it is, the weaker it is.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's
It has to be on this. It has to look at what the Stream Deck did. The Steam Deck, sorry.
yeah,
It
it's
has to
yeah,
be on par.
it's no,
yeah,
like,
Par.
I understand your perspective, but I feel like they're going to be pretty much relying off the NVIDIA DLSS
yeah,
technology in order for them to actually run the more modern games and stuff. Which that was already shown earlier with the leaks when they were showing the actual board of the new Switch 2. There was a new NVIDIA chip that was on it,
yeah,
so I'm pretty sure at that point they're either going to be using the latest DLSS 4 that NVIDIA will start talking about from CES, which probably that's not going to happen. But or you'll use a older version of it. But
yeah,
regardless,
But
that's what they're aiming for. Yeah.
remember, they did the same thing with the original Switch. Remember, that's when I first started YouTube. Remember how they hyped the Nvidia Switch, the Nvidia Meet and Switch up, and we thought that it was going to be more powerful than it actually ended up becoming. And then
Yeah.
I love Breath of the Wild, but
yeah,
I've got the footage, and it can be very ugly sometimes.
yeah.
And I
Well, I
love the
mean,
game.
the Nvidia chip they use, I'll tell you this straight up. When the Switch got announced, I knew it was bad because it was used on the Nvidia. What was it? The GeForce, the home player. I forget what it's called. I think it was like the Nvidia
Oh yeah,
player.
yeah, I remember.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about? They had like
I know what
that
you're talking
home thing that's like a Fire Stick basically. It was the same chip that was used there from like the older model, because at that time there was a newer model, but it was using the older model chip. But regardless, it was still impressive with what they did with a chip that's not that great. This one though is supposed to be custom, right? So this is one that's not a chip that was already out on the market. It's
about. Gotta see
custom.
it, y'all.
But remember, according to one of the original, not leaks, but one of the original rumors was that the game that they were showcasing what the power of the Switch 2 was Final Fantasy 7 not Rebirth, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and it looked better than what the PS4 Pro did, right? So there, people were saying that it's Xbox Series, not Xbox Series S level of performance. So,
I gotta see it. That's all,
mhm,
that's why I'm at the point. I gotta see it,
yeah,
because
oh, I agree.
they can say all that, and look, it's like somebody having a tool but not really knowing how to use it.
Yeah,
If you don't know how to take the hammer and hit the nail, it
yeah,
doesn't matter that you got a hammer. And just because you have the best chips or the cheapest chips that you can process, and Nintendo doesn't utilize those correctly, then, and I'm not saying they won't, I'm just saying
yeah.
it's been situations in the past that Nintendo has Nintendo'd. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to get too hyped, because really it feels like the same thing.
Hmm.
It feels like we're going through the same situation. Like the Switch was better than the Wii U, but it doesn't feel like we talked about that earlier. It doesn't feel like we're going to a different level with it. It's just kind of like just the same thing. And we all knew it was still going to be a handheld. Nintendo's bread
Hmm.
makers is handhelds. Like
Yeah.
so that that's why I was just which that's never going to happen. But my wish was we'll buy it for $500. We buy Xboxes and PlayStation 5s that we complain about. They don't have no games. But give us the option.
Yeah.
You shouldn't check people's pockets because a lot of people got money and they be spending it. And the people who don't have it, they be spending it too.
Yeah.
So give us the option.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And I agree. Like I'm at the point where just show us it already. Like I want to know if these rumors are true, if it's gonna have this performance. Like I'm not expecting like PS5 level performance, right, or PS5 Pro level performance, but I'm expecting something close because of DLSS. You know, for those of you who don't know what DLSS is, we mentioned this earlier. It's upscaling techniques that they use, and it works. Like I use it on PC. I use it on my ROG Ally X. Every game that I pretty much play on ROG Ally X uses FSR, right? Final Fantasy 16 using FSR, getting a higher frame rate, and of course, I had to up my VRAM, but it actually was more stable at a higher frame rate than my PS5 Pro, right? Yeah, it wasn't running 4K, it was running 720p, but still, it was again more stable, higher frame rate, and it looked gorgeous on a small display. So that to me is all I ask for, is give me something that I can get consistent frame rates, 60 FPS, and still make it look good, and I'll be happy with that. Uh, you know, that's just what I want. I use my ROG Ally X. Yeah, it's ROG Ally X is not as powerful as the PS5 Pro, but hey, I can play whatever game I want, and I can customize the look however I want too, which is
Exactly.
also a huge plus. Like if I want better frame rate, I can go that route. If I want it to look prettier, I can go that route. And again, using frame generation in FSR helps out a lot. You get a lot more out of the handheld than if you didn't have that stuff. Which, yeah, if Nintendo's doing it like this, then yeah, I'm down. But the biggest thing would be, and me and Ash have mentioned this, is add themes. Just add themes to your
Please,
console. Like,
please.
why
That's
is it
all
that
I'm
3DS had
asking.
themes, but then the Switch comes out doesn't have threes?
It's
I mean,
like
PlayStation did the same thing too. PS4 had themes, and then PS5 they did away with it. It's like, why?
Nintendo's like regressing. Like I know they want to play it safe at times, but still,
You
you
could make
had
money.
it.
I purchased 3DS themes. I purchased PlayStation 4 themes. You know how many times I downloaded like I bought a freaking Butterfinger for the Final Fantasy 7 remake theme on PS4. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember that they had that
I got
collab
it.
that you got a code. I don't eat Butterfingers. I don't eat like candy. And
That's
I
I got
bought
it
amazing.
it
for
just because I wanted that.
the Tifa
Yep, it was the Tifa theme.
got
Yep.
it with the thing when she's my homegirl. She was like, "Go out there and get it." I was like, "Yeah, thank you." Because I would have bought a few. That's my Tifa.
Yeah, that
That was
I bought it
but
for
kicking her
that.
leg up.
Yeah, it's like just that alone. I love themes. Allow me to customize it, get that music in the background. You had Tifa's theme playing in the background of that.
Mhm.
Like I like that. That's so I think I got every single Final Fantasy 7 theme there was when that game came out.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me?
I
Hey,
don't
I
believe you.
told you I enjoyed Remake.
I
I enjoyed Remake.
believe you. I believe you hate Final Fantasy.
You believe I hate
But it's
Final
okay.
Fantasy?
I believe
Uh,
that you have you so
Guys,
dark that cloud.
I know there's certain I know there's certain people out there that don't care for themes, but we're basically saying just to to add the option to have themes. You can
yeah,
still keep it the same way like you always did when you
yeah,
got the system. We're just saying add more customization to the system.
yeah. It's
Make it
cool.
more live. Like I'm curious to see what Geek Switch is like. Does he have a unique theme of some random JRPG that me and James have never played before? Or is there a is interesting theme that
Mm-hmm.
red underscore so deep has from
Bryant.
um I was mouthwash. Where that game is? Whitewash, mouthwash. I don't know. It was the one indie game he was talking about.
Yeah.
Mouthwash.
Oh, the
I
one
think
he
it was
was
called
talking about
mouthwash.
recently. Yeah.
Yeah, mouthwash. I think it was called mouthwash. Whatever. There was a theme for that, and it looked so freaking cool. And then that brought me to play the damn game onto the console. Like it's like small things
Yeah.
like that that will easily generate more copies for your developers if they want to make their games for your damn platform.
I'll tell you what, I on my 3DS is modded, and I was downloading the themes that you can get, because you can download the themes that are originally there on the 3DS. And I downloaded. I never played. So I played Bravely Default, but never played Bravely Second End Layer.
Bravely Second, yeah.
I never played that one, and I downloaded a theme, and the background music was amazing. That I had to go ahead and play Bravely Second. But yeah, stuff like that gets you interested in. You're like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. Like let me see what the game's actually about. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and the thing is, why do I need to freaking hack my Switch just to do these things? Why I gotta do so many extra steps just to customize something? Like,
it's
for Christ's sake.
That goes back to what I was saying. Just in general, that's all I mean. It's just the little things.
Yeah.
Right now, I know I was talking a lot about gameplay stuff, but I would like to see achievements. Like you could just take them off if you don't want them to be the buzz on your game.
Yeah.
I like to see and record.
You know what's funny?
And see what that stuff is.
What's funny is a lot of the games too, like even Nintendo games have built-in achievements. Like you play like a Mario game, like Super Mario Wonders, you get badges that are basically achievements for doing certain things. You'll see them like they're built into the game. Like just put it in the system itself.
Like a leaderboard, even if some kind of online leaderboard or something. Well, remember when Nintendo was supposed to have the thing to hook together with your phone when you're playing game? What was it? It was like the Nintendo app. It was like it dropped. I'm gonna say about 2018, maybe.
Yeah, the Nintendo phone app.
Yeah, and
they didn't do nothing with it. Yeah, it was like a Smash Bros thing where you can see photos and that's about it.
Pokemon Go would have actually integrated with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Where the Pokemon you catch out in the wild, only certain ones you can catch out in the wild, which will promote both games, and then you had to bring them back.
Well, yeah, Let's Go had
for
that.
me to say about this technology.
Pokemon Let's Go had that feature. Possible. Yeah, but then they
took the Nintendo Switch games.
Yeah, so Let's Go had the Pokemon Let's Go, like Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu. They did integrate with Pokemon Go, but that was the only game that did it. All the other ones didn't, which was kind of dumb.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like your mainstream game.
Yeah.
Talking about I have to go to the beach.
Yeah.
I live by you guys. We live by the beaches.
Yeah.
So you got to go to the beach to catch a freaking Squirtle, or go certain places to get a rare. My thing is. A Polyworld. But my thing is, it's just the small thing. What I want to see even more than graphics, as much as I've been talking about them competing since they haven't competed since freaking GameCube, I actually want to see just a little more innovation with the games. And they've done really well with some of the games. I'm not saying, if it ain't Quincy's way, I don't care. But what I am saying is, like, it just feels like, even if you're mumbling like on Animal Crossing, can I please just, one of your signature games is Pokemon. Can I just have something? Seriously, just a little bit. Because the rest of the open world part was really good, and being able to do things and seeing it come to life. I just want to see a little bit more with the games. And they had a lot of games. It was a lot of ports, which a lot of people complained about the Switch for the ports. I liked a lot of the ports. But I would like to see Star Fox, a new Star Fox game. Give me not the F-Zero 99. Can we get an actual F-Zero game? You have so many IPs. The only person that rivals their IPs is freaking Sega. They got so many IPs that they can. I mentioned Mike Jones. Who knows about Star Tropics? So I mentioned Mike Jones from earlier in the conversation, but just certain games like that, even if they're just like, I don't want to say throw.
Yeah, I didn't know about that Mike Jones. I thought you were trying to mention like other Mike Jones.
Oh, you thought Mike Jones? No, I said that on purpose.
Like, who?
There was a game. Mike Jones. There was a game called Star Tropic, and I think it came out in like 1989. I'm gonna say not one of the first RPGs, but it was an original RPG by Nintendo. A lot of similarities with Mike Jones.
Yeah,
he's in Melee
one.
as he's in Melee as a trophy.
Yeah.
he had a blue shirt on, like some khakis or something. He used the same weapons that Ness did off of Earthbound. He came out before Earthbound. So a lot of Ness's attacks with the bat and the yo-yo and the slingshot, they just kind of incorporated over to Ness, even though Mother had already been out with what was his name? What was the main dude?
Nintendo something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
What's it?
they have
Yeah, I
so
think his
many
name
different
Nintendo.
IPs that they can use, is what I'm saying. That we can bring back different games. If you're not gonna, I just don't see anything new that they're doing, or what we don't know what the hell's really going on. I haven't heard any rumors of anything really. And remember how innovative the Switch seemed when it first came out, before it came out, when it was the NX. How we
Yeah,
were so hyped up. Like, is it going to be these two? Remember that was leaked. That it was
yeah,
going to be two controllers on the side. Is it going to be this? Is it going to be handheld? How is it going to be? Because I remember at the time I was watching Player Essence and him and what was his name, Super Dave 64, and they were going back and forth on a live, talking about how powerful it was going to be, and then it came out, and Nintendo, Super Nintendo Dave just lost it because he was like, it's, they're not competing, because we all thought they might compete. We
Hmm.
all thought it was might have been up there
Yeah,
with the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox at the time, but Nintendo went their own direction, which ended up working out for them. But I just want to see. I want to see more. I want to see more innovativeness when it came to some of their games.
yeah,
I don't see personally. I'd rather see a brand new game, and I say this with Final Fantasy. And I've said this before because y'all know that's my series. But I would rather see a brand new Final Fantasy that's good than keep on rehashing seven, because it's the your money maker.
yeah,
That's the reason why people are kind of like, to me, it got so snubbed at the freaking Game Awards. It's like, we know what's gonna happen. It's the same game. We already know these characters. We already know what's really going on.
yeah,
It was all right. But I would like to see, you know, just something more. That's just me. I want to
yeah,
see Zelda in a playable game, not no side action. I'm talking about in the game, even if it's 20, 30 minutes or an hour or so of gameplay where, as the person of wisdom, she can actually do some puzzles.
yeah. I hear you on that.
It's not gonna happen. And I'm gonna buy the same game. Like I bought this $70 Tears of the Kingdom. No, 77.57 California state tax.
Oh man. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Switch 2. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We'll see if this Friday if it comes out. And honestly speaking, I told you my thoughts on Rebirth that I'm not wasn't impressed, but I am picking it up on PC, and if it comes on Switch, I will pick it up on Switch again too, just to have it on there. I mean, I have Final Fantasy 9 on every device that I have. I have Final Fantasy 10 on every device I have. Final Fantasy 12. Like, why not Final Fantasy Rebirth, right? I have Final Fantasy 16 on PS5 and PC. If it came out on Switch too, I would probably buy it again just to have it on there. You know how that is. How many times have you rebought a Final Fantasy game, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think
multiple
I would want.
times.
I don't think I want to go back and play 16.
You don't think so? Yeah, you were like me like that. Like I try to give it a second chance. Like usually I try to give games multiple chances. Um,
I don't
16, I
have
was
time.
enjoying it until
I
they did
can't do
that.
it, bro.
16, I was enjoying it until I they did an update and they just made everything like run bad, and I was just like I got frustrated. But then I found the fix. But then after that, I was just like I'll get to it again when I get to it because I just don't care right now. Too busy playing other games.
You got to be one of them goats for me to go back. I took 130 hours out
Mhm,
and played Final Fantasy X last year. Well, Final Fantasy X is not only one of the best freaking Final Fantasies, it's just
mhm.
one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah, I
Like,
love Final
just
Fantasy
from a
10.
narrative, just from the battle system, from all the
Yeah,
things that you can do with arguably the best mini game in Final Fantasy.
Blitzball.
Um,
Yeah,
Blitzball is really good.
I would love a 10, a remake but it doesn't even have to be a remake in a way that it changes the gameplay like Final Fantasy VII Remake does. It can be just a way, like, give me the in render, like the cutscene graphics, just all the way throughout the whole game. Like I would play that in a heartbeat because 10 is my favorite Final Fantasy. I've mentioned that plenty of times. 10 is
Yeah, it's my second.
my favorite. It's on par, or it's very close with like 4. Like I really like Final Fantasy 4 as well. In 4, this is one of the few times I would say that I did like 4 on DS because they did add voice cutscenes, which was pretty cool. I did like that with that, but I really enjoy 4 a lot. It's just something special. It's not. I would say it's not as innovative of a story as like 6, 7, 8, and 9 are. It's your normal kind of hero type of thing, but it's just the way it goes about. I do like Cecil being the Dark Knight who becomes Paladin. His brother is the bad guy, and all the things that surround it is pretty cool.
Fight on the moon.
Yeah,
There's a
going
lot
to
of
the
epic scenes
moon.
during
Yeah,
that time. Yeah.
Rydia. Like the thing with Rydia
Yeah.
was
Yeah, right.
was so
Yeah.
cool. Like she's a little girl when you get her in your team, and then she gets swallowed up, and you're like, oh shoot, like well, I guess she's gone. Like you get all these characters, you're like, well, I guess they're gone. Like they never come back, and then Rydia comes back, and she's what, like 10 years older or whatever the case might be. Like, oh, so much cool stuff in 4. Definitely, like I said, probably my second favorite Final Fantasy. And then after that, it's everybody can fight for it. It can be 9, 12,
Well,
7.
Rebirth didn't have a chance. Hearing your list, I mean, if you got everything over 7, then you might as well just not play.
No, I still love Final Fantasy 7.
Hey, you said anything in this fight. You're
No,
like,
I wouldn't say 16 over 7. No, definitely not 16 over 7.
12,
No,
13 part 4.
13 definitely not 13 either. 13 is on the bottom of my list.
12.
But I will say
11
13-2 is
was
really.
Network
I did
Adapter.
enjoy 13-2 more than 13. 11 I loved. The MMO, I was locked in. If that became like I think a single player story, it would be cool. I think a lot of people would enjoy it because it did have a pretty good story.
If Hiro Nobu was there, he wouldn't have let it happen. He wouldn't
Like
have let
MMO?
it be 11. Yeah, he wouldn't have took it that way. Or if it was, it would have been FFO.
Mhm.
Numbering
And
it
not a
has
number?
never to me. Yeah, never made sense to me.
I
It should
agree.
have been FFO, and then it should have been FFO2 or something because those, even though they have rich stories,
Yeah.
they aren't the canonical Final Fantasies. And just as a side note, I wrote that down too. The best remake that it would make, everybody's talking about 9. We talk about 10. People have been clamoring for 13. The best remake that would be Final Fantasy 8 because the junction system would fit much better in modern day because of the different things they could do to it versus how it was back in the day. It was if it came out instead of 9 and 9 came out during 8, if they switched from 2000 to 1999, I think they both would like 8 would have been received better because it
Yeah.
just kind of got he's just kind of like Cloud.
Yeah.
Just it's moody dude and it was a lot of crazy stuff, but I
He's a little
think
bit
that
more whiny than Cloud.
the graphics and he was moody. Yeah. Well, Cloud didn't he talked more than Cloud.
Yeah,
Cloud
that's true.
didn't
He
talk in the
did,
first
and he opened up more
Right.
towards the end too than Cloud.
That's how you do a
Yeah.
silent protagonist, James.
Yeah.
Is what Cloud from 1997 on Final Fantasy 7. You
Yeah.
didn't really have that many. You just have a great cast around you, and then
Mhm.
you just look. They did it on. I don't know if you guys played Metaphor, but they did it on Metaphor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
The
played the
main hero
demo.
didn't talk.
Yeah, I played the
Oh,
demo. I
man.
haven't. That's another game that I gotta pick up. There's a lot of games I gotta pick up, like that I haven't gone to, and I'm like sad that I haven't gotten to. But it's like Brothership, Metaphor. There's another RPG. Hmm.
Persona 3 Reload.
No, I have that. I gotta finish that though. I don't know why I stopped and started playing something else, and then I completely got like part of it for me is all the handheld reviews I've been doing. They take up so much time, and it's just like I was playing Assassin's Creed Mirage, and but then my work got I got overrun by work, and I just like literally from November after Black Friday to the end of December, I played like 0 games. Like I played nothing, which is why I didn't do any videos because I didn't have enough time to test out these other devices that I have. But now that my hours are back to normal, I can test them out and see how they are. But yeah, there's Front Mission 2 is another one that I have to get, the remake. and I'm definitely can't wait for Mission 3 because From Mission 3
I
was
need to
my
get
favorite From
that.
Mission. Yeah,
I
it's
need to
great.
get that.
Oh, I gotta finish. Not Octopath. I do gotta finish Octopath Traveler 2 though, but
Oh, so do I. How do
Triangle
you feel about
Strategy.
that game?
Yeah, Triangle Strategy. I told you I was gonna give it a second try, and I
Yeah.
started it again. Remember, and I told you I was enjoying it
Have you
more.
been enjoying? Have you been enjoying?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
well
just
that's
have to
good.
finish it. Cause that.
I we
Mhm.
talked about it before. I actually think that it's better than it's also everything's subjective, of course. I think it's better than Octopath Traveler 2 because it has a more concise story. Like the
Mhm.
story actually is under one umbrella. Even though you have it, they fixed that a little bit on Octopath Traveler 2, you still, to me, you still don't feel like it's a party because every character just talks to each other separately.
Yeah,
So it's just that they'll just separate the conversation. Just even if they just had the other two people in your party just stand there, it's some kind of inclusion. So even when you have to do the doubles, like
yeah,
you playing tennis, um, it just felt like, and then adding the extra thing you could do at night to me just felt like I didn't need to do that.
yeah.
It was just an extra thing for me to just suck up hours with. And as much as we complain about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth with some mini games, they could have donated some to them. Give me one mini game. How many did Breath of Fire 4 have? How many Breath
Quite
of
a
Fire
few.
3 have?
Yeah, but Fire
That's
4
what I
had
mean. Give
quite a
me at
lot.
least 3 mini games that I can
Yeah.
go back to and play that takes me away. How many did Yakuza Like a Dragon have? So, but
Yeah.
Triangle Strategy has 4 routes, and I got it for VR. I haven't even played. I did a video on
Oh,
it.
I want to
Didn't
try
do that
that.
bad, but I have not played it like that.
Yeah.
I just put it on, and then it was like $29. So I was like, it's $29, and it's a great
Ash, have
game.
you played Triangle Strategy?
Not yet.
I
I
think you'll like
wanna.
it.
Yeah, I'll eventually get into it, but I don't know. Didn't have the same like HD2 graphics like what you call
Hmm.
it
It
Mhm.
does.
So
It
yeah,
is just one of those things
Octopath.
that
you know
you
the game,
definitely. Yeah,
fucking
Octopath
Octopath
Traveler.
Traveler. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
it's
Yeah.
one of those that I recommend on PC because like rebuying it on PC, the Switch, going to like Geek Statement or it being underpowered, it has like a heavy blur to the background. To me that just annoyed me, and the only reason why I even noticed it is when I was watching a video from Retro Game Core showing off it on the Steam Deck, and I was like, wait a minute, there was no blur on Octopath Traveler 2 or Triangle Strategy at all. And then of course me buying it on the Steam Deck realized, yeah, it looks way better. You don't get any of that heavy blur there.
It killed my OG Switch. I
Really?
didn't have I told you that?
No,
My
yeah.
OG Switch started overheating and catching on fire. That's why I modded it.
Yeah. Oh
Because
wow.
it started overheating and I had to go buy the little fan and put on it and stuff. And that was right before a month later Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out.
Yeah.
So I had to shout out to my mom's. My mom's was like, my QVC. That's how I got my PlayStation and my HSN and QVC.
Yeah.
I paid a little extra, but I got both right when nobody had them. People were
Yeah.
like, "This is 2022. How'd you get an OLED?" Well, shout out to Mama. She's like, "Go ahead and go ahead." And they had the OLEDs. They had a lot of them, and
Yeah.
so I had to get an OLED. I wouldn't have bought no OLED. I'm a one switch kind of guy.
Yeah. My wife got me the OLED. I was so sad when it came up and I couldn't get it. And then next thing you know, she's just like,
Mm,
she passes me her phone and I see the receipt right there. Like, there it is. I was
nice.
like, oh, she was on right when I'm here trying to get it, and they say, oh, sold out. She had got one.
Nice.
All right. Well, we're gonna end today's podcast there. So, what do you guys think? What's gonna happen with the Switch rumors? We'll be back next week to see if Friday we do get that announcement. Only time will tell, and hopefully we do. Or some tease of the announcement, letting us know that we're getting it there. But for right on, I do believe a lot of those leaks are real, and we'll be keeping an eye on it and see what happens next week. So, as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow over on Twitch. You're on Twitch. We'll be back Thursday with the group stream. Probably more Marvel Rivals because that's what we've been playing. And Friday, more than likely, Marvel Rivals. The following week, though, I might change it up. Rebirth does come out that not this week, but next week on PC. And if I get that key, I will go ahead and play it. And if not, I don't know. I'll probably still go ahead and play it regardless because, like I said, I'm definitely looking to get that. I'm excited to play that. Yeah. Geek, where can I catch you at?
You can catch me basically everywhere under the Geek Show. That's GEAK show.
You can also watch archives every
Twitch,
Saturday.
YouTube. Please. The new season is coming. Right before this, it's been a year. I've had to redo everything. But it's coming back.
Yeah.
With new bumpers. And it's gonna be live.
Yeah.
Because the premieres they're premiering.
Yeah. Our archives is great. If you like Toonami but you want that in gaming format, Geek Show's got you covered with archives. Highly recommend it. It's nostalgic. Like watching it, I'll have it up at night, have it in the background, and so I'm looking at it, and I was like, man, this feels like watching Toonami at 12 a.m. back in the days. Because over here I'm on the East Coast, so it's nighttime when you started already. So it feels like Toonami at night.
I'm changing the time, by the way.
Oh, you are?
It's going back to 12 hours.
Oh,
and
nice.
And I'm changing it. That's what's been taking me so long.
Yeah.
And is to update the new ones. But hopefully nobody's noticed that I just been replaying them. It's just, kind of like Toonami.
Yeah.
You'll come in on Nico Robin, Water 7, and another time you come in on Gear 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. That's good. But
because like I said, I do watch it. I do watch it. Like since I told you, since I haven't played Last Story, I was watching your play of that, and when I realized it started all over, I was like, no. It was like not the Goku arriving on Namek again. Like,
was it? As long as it was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I try to get the cliffhanger. I did that really well with a Lost Odyssey. Got a really good cliffhanger when he, and then it it gives that Nobu music.
Yeah, love that. Ash, where can I catch you at?
You can catch me at Astro Story on my YouTube. I still haven't uploaded a video about the Switch too, and it's going to be like a fairly short one, which I kind of already alluded to that in in this podcast on what I just want from the Switch altogether. But that's pretty much it for me.
Awesome. And as always, you can catch me right here at the Random Encounter, YouTube, Twitch, all the other good stuff, Blue Sky, Twitter, whatever is there. Probably not TikTok anymore because we probably won't have a TikTok in what, a week or so.
Yeah.
So
the 19th, I think.
Yeah. So probably not there, but wherever I can be, you can catch me there. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Geek. Thank you, Ash, for joining, and we will see you guys later.
See you later.
Peace.